So this morning, the whole purpose of this morning, this was not really a scheduled call, but I wanted to do this anyway. The whole goal, Brian and I talk about this all the time, and Justine is involved in that conversation, is that we want to provide as much value to you guys as possible. And my ultimate goal for you is to help you build the life you want to build. And from my perspective, and I hope this is from your perspective, obviously a practice that serves your community, but even more importantly, serves you. And that means to create a practice that resonates with your core values. So you're delivering chiropractic the way you want to build a business that helps inspire other people and gives them a purpose to be part of that mission. And in turn, frees up some of your time. So you're not the one working in your practice all the time. You have a team that is fulfilling the mission of your practice to get chiropractic to your community. And ultimately build great wealth for you guys so you have some freedom so you can do the things you want to do. And if your goal is to serve something that's greater than yourself or serve something that you really truly believe in, you have the means financially to do that and and serve in a big way. So that's the whole goal. So that's why I wanted to do this call this morning. And the whole purpose of this call is to give you different perspectives. I have the opportunity to talk to a lot of people in chiropractic, in the education system, different people in practice at different levels of practice, some doing incredible things and beyond what I ever conceived a chiropractor could do, as far as serving people and building a business and making an income. And just talking to a lot of people who have had incredible experience, different coaches and so on. So I want to share with you some of the ideas that I've picked up over the past few years and just give you different perspectives. So I'm not going to get into a lot of details of what I talk about today. If some of this stuff resonates you, for our coaching clients, the ones that we get on one-on-one coaching calls, if something like this resonates with you and you want to talk about how to implement this into your practice and how to get into the details, like how to inspire your staff to be part of these things that we talk about today, how to monetize it, how to price it, like actually the mechanics of putting it in, we can talk about that on coaching calls. But at least this will give you an idea of what we're talking about today. So the whole idea, and what we see in the profession so often, is that most chiropractors are involved in trying to sell adjustments. They're trying to sell this level of clinical care that is, in most cases, and I'm generalizing here, but the majority of our profession sells some level of chiropractic care to address symptoms. Now, we talk about this all the time, and obviously there's so much more to chiropractic. In fact, that I'm going to say is not even chiropractic. That is some form of therapy and medicine, which really is by definition outside of the boundaries of chiropractic. That is not what we do. So what we want to do is we want to sell outcomes. And what I mean by that is that the most successful practices are selling an outcome to people. So what that means in that when we sell chiropractic care, we sell a package of chiropractic care that is designed to get an outcome. So clinical care is, and we use a form of corrective care, be it X-ray analysis or neurological analysis. So there's an objective measurement, and it's a course of adjustments to achieve that outcome, plus a course of rehab, be it head weighting or be it stretching or sleep rolls or cerviguard or whatever it is we use to help achieve that outcome, but something that the patient would actively engage in on their own. Okay. So there's other things that we can add, including passive services, which can be 100% staff delivered, and we'll get into that. We want to look at our office to build a recurring level of revenue. So, a successful practice, a successful business has a recurring level of revenue. So that means there's memberships or there's subscriptions, right? And I'm using those terms specifically, but people that come in regularly and pay automatically, whether it's monthly payments or one-time payments or whatever that is. But there's this level of recurring revenue. And the whole idea is that we want a practice base, so practice members that have an identity. So we've positioned ourselves as something different. So we're a corrective care office. We're a wellness-based office, and I really don't like that word because everybody uses wellness-based. I mean, medical doctors use wellness now. Pharmacists use the term wellness. So I like to get away from that word, and I like to say we allow for full expression of life. That's what chiropractic is great at. Um, we are based on performance. So if somebody wants to reach their top level of performance, whether they're an athlete or whether they're a mom of three kids or whether they're a student, wanting to have the best response at physical and mental well-being, whatever that is, we can provide that. And we also specifically allow people to have great longevity. So, in other words, not just live long, but live with high quality. So, these are the things that we can offer the world from a healthcare standpoint. So, there's all kinds of strategic opportunities. So, I've kind of divided this up into four categories. So you may want to take some notes on this. I know some of you are probably in your cars and stuff like that, but I'm going to say this is something you probably want to take some notes on just to, again, give yourself a different perspective and some ideas. So ideally, we want to try to create a care plan that is our flagship care plan that involves everything that we stand for. So it's a flagship, so it can be a corrective and lifestyle transformation program. That's our premium offer. We can also have a plan that is a staff run, 100% staff run, recovery and rehab department, because there is a market of people that want that. There are people that will not come to your office for chiropractic care, but they will come for some level of quote unquote pain relief. It's not chiropractic, but if we can provide it and then have the ability to educate them about chiropractic, then we can get them into some sort of a chiropractic program, a corrective care program after the fact, once they build trust in us and once they start to learn what chiropractic is all about. We can also add a scalable coaching and accountability system because people want accountability. They want somebody to kick them in the butt. They want somebody to give them ideas and exercises that they can do and follow through with to get the result they want to get. Because most people are the first ones to let themselves down. Okay, so that's something we can plug into all of our care plans. And we can also have a sort of a continuity based, as I mentioned, like a wellness care membership or a life expression membership. So here's the first idea is that we want to create this high ticket premium transformation plan that encompasses everything. And this is why I mentioned to you guys to anchor people to this plan that you have, because most of you don't have a 5-digit plan or plus. Like you don't have a 10,000, 12,000, 16, $20,000 care plan. Most of you don't. But the fact is, there's a market of people who want that. They don't necessarily know that they want it. They don't necessarily think that that's what I want when I first made the first phone call or responded to an ad of yours. But once they build trust in you and once they come into your office and they learn the principle of chiropractic and see the services that you provide, many people are going to want that. And you might have 2, 3, 4 out of 10 people say, I want that care plan. So here's some examples. And again, this is just to expand your mind a little bit. This is not written in stone. I'm not giving you the recipe. I'm just giving you some ideas on how you can structure this. So here's the thing. So high ticket transformation care plan. So this can be anywhere between a $5,000 and literally a $25,000 care plan or more. And you can title it something fancy like the Total Human Optimization Program. And so listen, there are offices doing this and successfully, quote unquote, selling this program. They get people to understand how valuable it is, and people commit to doing a plan like this. So hypothetically, this could be the Total Human Optimization Program. It could be an elite transformation over 12 months. And this could include full chiropractic corrective care. So you have a 12-month care plan of chiropractic corrective care. And within that chiropractic corrective care, obviously there's the advanced spinal rehab. And here's what I would suggest is that for those of you who want to have a higher volume office and really want to implement home care into your office, have a home care class. Train a CA to run that home care class. And it's done once a week, and it could be 20 minutes to 30 minutes in length, not long. And people can come to it, and they can come to it as often as they want. All the new patients would be scheduled for that class, and you can schedule their adjustment just before or just after the class. But it involves the CA or the coach doing the class talking about the importance of engaging in spinal rehab, the importance of doing their sleep rolls, the importance of doing their head weights, or getting on the vibe plate in the office, doing their CerviGuard, whatever it is you prescribe for them for their spinal rehab. And it keeps them engaged and keeps them accountable. The other thing that I would suggest is that once you get this set up is videotape it and put it on your website or create a private page that you can send the link to people so that they can watch the class and re-engage in in the home care. Okay. That's really important. And this can be 100% staff led. You can include a functional nutrition coaching program. And again, this can be totally staff led. So, in other words, it's doctor created, but it's delivered by the team. And this is something that was really successful in our office. And I'm going to get into this a little bit and share this with you because this can really help grow your chiropractic practice. So you can develop this customized nutrition plan for each of the people that come into this program. So they have a customized nutrition program. They have follow-ups. We had a very fancy Tanita scale that measured body fat analysis and weight and so on. And we had regular weigh-ins. So again, it was a level of accountability, and that was all part of the care plan. So in that care plan, there was an included supplement protocol and so they would get their daily essentials. They'd get their essential, their omega 3s. They would get their vitamin D, their multivitamin according to whether they're male or female, whatever formula that you're using. And that would be part of the care plan. So this might be a care plan where the person is actually paying 1,500, 2,000 a month, and we're including everything in that care plan. But there are people who want that. They want the accountability and they have the means and they're willing to pay for that because they feel that there's value there. And there's a mentality as well that when it's priced that way, it becomes exclusive. It's something that people will say, I want that because I see the value in it. It's priced high, which shows that there's value in it. And there's going to be people that love to be part of that. So, my suggestion is put that together and have that there and offer it to people because you're going to have people take you up on it. You could have a weekly accountability coaching session with the people that are in this program. And there's also too, there's a lot of digital apps that allow members of this program to track their habits. So they can track their exercise, they can track their sleep, they can track a lot of different things. And you can add that to the program if you choose to do that. There's lots of different options to implement that in if you choose to. Again, just to give you some ideas. So that would be a care plan, including all that stuff in your care plan. And that could be a $24,000 care plan, $2,000 a month over the course of 12 months. And it includes everything. But you're never going to quote unquote sell or convert somebody to that care plan if you don't have it set up. So that would be my suggestion is if you want to do that, we can help you set something like that up and actually put it into play. So that's one option. So a second option, here's another option. So this is I've named this the spinal correction and cellular health program. So again, it's a corrective care program. It might be a 3 time a week program. Maybe this is only for 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever the case is, as far as the corrective care, and it's tapering. You're doing all of the monitoring with your re-x-rays or scans, however you use. But then when you implement cellular health, there's a lot of offices now who are using things like red light therapy, implementing decompression into this program. This could be something where the person gets into now advanced supplementation. So you get them on a specific anti-inflammatory diet or a hormonal reset customized nutrition plan for them. So you're actually trying to make a metabolic change nutritionally with them, and it's being monitored. And now you've suggested some very specific supplementation based on their findings. And again, they're monitored over a certain period of time. And the fact is you're implementing chiropractic care, so they're getting a chiropractic care, but they're also getting some higher end cellular health implementation as well. And again, this is a higher ticket care plan. You can price this 12, 14, $16,000 for a program like that. Red light therapy, although it's not chiropractic, is very big. So a lot of offices right now are selling red light therapy units that people would purchase. So in other words, they're purchasing them and then reselling them to the patient at a markup as part of their care, or they've put higher end red light therapy units into a room. So maybe it's a room that you used to have a massage therapy person in, or maybe it's a storage room, whatever it is. And all you need is very simple, a chair, and you can set this up with red light therapy units. And the thing is that the return on this monetarily is very significant, much higher than what a massage therapist is going to pay you on a rent or a commission type of basis. Okay, so that's again something to think about. Here's a third one. This is what I've called the Executive Health and Performance Program. So this is targeted more at business people, entrepreneurs, executives. There's a lot of people who, well, I don't have the time. I'm willing to commit to once a week. And again, it's a fine line where you say somebody needs corrective care 3 times a week, but then you compromise and say, okay, you can only come in once a week. But this would have to be worded in the way that it's a longer term thing and it's a commitment over the period of time. So maybe it's a year program. So this person would be on weekly chiropractic optimization program, but they would also be part of, and what you can do is set up and have your team set up a mobility class. And this is one thing, we actually had a patient do this, and she was doing it 3 times a week, and we compensated her. And we made it part of the care plan that she would actually run an exercise class. And a lot of the exercises that she did were stretching, flexibility, yoga type moves. And then she would do a small amount of cardio or HIIT training. And it was a great class. She had very regular people coming to it. They were all on regular care plans at our office, and we've incorporated that. But it was a great thing to do. So you're going to have team members. Maybe you have a personal trainer that comes in for care, and they would love to partner with you and run a class once or twice a week in your office. Maybe it's at a lunchtime or a time that you're closed or before shift or something like that. It can be a 20 to 30-minute class. And those go off very, very well. So adding that or incorporating that in the care plan. There could be, and one thing that's again popular now is something called brain optimization. So starting to do neurofeedback classes, and without getting into too many details, here's an example: is that they would do neurofeedback sessions, and the person would wear a heart monitor. And the coach of the session, and again, the CA could be trained to do this. The coach of the session would give them some visualization techniques, and you would actually monitor their heart rate as they practiced those visualization techniques. And the idea is that you allow somebody to train themselves neurologically to bring down their heart rate or bring down their blood pressure, and you can show them how it's monitored as they go through these either breathing or visualization techniques. And again, that's very popular, but you can implement that into your office, into a care plan if you choose to. So again, just some different ideas of what's happening in the profession. You can also in this program, if this is for entrepreneurs or executives, you could have some concierge style booking. So in other words, some priority booking where those people, they pay a premium for their care, but then they don't wait. They get special times in your office, or they get to come in and they get to bypass the front desk and go right into an adjustment room. And there's some concerns, and you need to make sure that this is done very properly. But there's a way to do that because it's almost like a VIP type of program, and people understand there's VIP type of program, and they pay more for that. And then you can also do like quarterly strategy or coaching calls with, like, whether it's one-on-one with a doctor, or perhaps you have a team, like a coach, a life coach, and you're just talking about their goal setting and accountability. So implementing that into the program as well. So that program is all based on performance. Here's another example. So again, could be another high ticket type of care plan, and this is called the neurological reset program. So, and I'm purposely naming these for you guys because it when you start naming the way that you deliver care, and it's, first of all, it's very catchy, it's unique. It sets you apart from the chiropractor they used to see when they're coming in to get their back cracked, or they're coming in for some sort of regular, adjustment program. This is a more comprehensive way to look at it and position yourself. So this neurological reset program, this is all about helping them manage their stress and changing the function, changing the patterns within their nervous system. So it involves obviously specific chiropractic corrective care, home care classes, but then you could also you have a team member that wants to do meditation or breath work classes. Again, it can be a weekly breath work class. It can be a 15-minute breath work class. It can be done live, or it can be done over Zoom that people could log into. This is something that, for those of you who use scans, where you use either thermal scans or HRV, HRV is very, very big right now. People start understanding HRV and the indication of HRV on overall health and longevity. So implementing that into a care plan, and not just doing it once a month or once every 2 or 3 months or every 6 weeks or whatever, but actually doing it very regularly. Like, for instance, a weekly HRV follow-up where they just have their HRV measured and you're constantly monitoring it. And when it changes, like, for example, when it goes very when the values go into the very unhealthy ranges, then you can address that and ask the person, or that could be the team member, the the life coach or the staff member could ask the person what's going on in their life. So it's an ongoing way to help manage that person's stress and keep them on a regular type of schedule that's being monitored. So they get their weekly neurological scans or HRV. You could get them on a hormone reset diet with supplementation, and then you can do also guided nervous system retraining and stress management. Like I said, with this psychokinetics type of thing, with the heart rate monitor and the blood pressure, with visualization. And the goal of that neurologically is to help them to retrain patterns. People get into patterns neurologically. And the whole goal by doing this is to help people to start retraining their patterns. And here's the thing, when you start talking like this, people get it because this is the stuff that people are looking into for their own health and well-being. So implementing this into your office sets you apart. Again, having team members that can implement stuff like this and get into this, you're going to inspire your team and raise their level of significance and importance because now they feel like they're delivering as opposed to answering the phone and just making appointments. You help them get into this level of actually delivering care where they're making a difference with people. Okay, so that's another one. So here's another one where you talk about family care. For those of you that don't have a family plan, like a concrete family plan in your office, I would suggest that is a problem if you don't have that set up. So you might have, somebody brings their child in, they get a bit of a discount on their children's care, or whatever that is. But actually having a family membership plan where the whole family can get all the care that they need, whatever schedule that is, for a set fee over the period of a yearly membership, that's huge. And it opens the door for people to just be like, just to put it on auto pay, just autopilot. Like we pay $1,200 a month, $1,000 a month, whatever, $800 a month to the chiropractor for our family to get care, whatever that is. And we all go in once a week, or my husband had a flare up, so he needed to go in 2 or 3 times or 3 or 4 times for a couple of weeks to help with his flare up, whatever that is. But it's a family plan that includes everything. And that's something because when you start getting people and families on these family plans, that is regular recurring revenue that people just stick with. Okay. So that's something to really consider. Um, Involve your pediatric prenatal care. And you can, like, on top of that, you can start doing some monthly family coaching workshops. If you want to start talking to people about children's health and how to manage fevers, or the vaccine schedule, or the dangers of different medications and stuff like that, that could be something you can do live or Zoom, right? You can do a Zoom workshop for families. You can do nutrition and lifestyle planning workshops. You can do a kids posture workshop for families that are under this family plan. So you bring all the kids in and you check them on your SAM unit or your do bilateral scales or whatever that is, and you consult them on proper backpack use and things like that. And the other thing that's really big is the shop with the doc. People love the shop with the doc. And so to say that this is a service that you provide for people in this family legacy wellness plan or family plan, that quarterly they would get to come with you to the grocery store or to Whole Foods or to wherever it is you go, Goodness Me, or your regular supermarket, Sobeys, whatever that is, and learn about different nutritions, learn how to read labels, learn how to look for certain things in foods and what to avoid and what to put into your shopping cart. This is really, really valuable stuff, but you actually set it up on a regular basis. So you actually schedule over the next year. We have shop with the docs on these dates 4 times a year, and the dates are set. And you take a Saturday for a couple hours and you just go, and these people all come with you. And then what happens is this is a practice building thing too, because then you say, hey, would you like to invite a friend? Or do you have a family member that would like to come along with you? And they get to know you. And next thing you know, you have new patients out of it as well. Okay. So then those are all higher ticket type of plans. Those plans typically are 5-figure plans or plus, right? So and the thing is, if you haven't implemented something like that, it's really important to put that in. Because when you can anchor somebody, especially a new patient, to all the services that you provide and say, this is the plan that I would suggest for you based on your health patterns, based on your presentation, based on all the problems that you've come in with, and the subluxation pattern that we found in your spine, this is the plan that you need. And it's $24,000. And then you can have the conversation about why that's so valuable and why they need that. And if they choose not to do that, then your $4,000 plan is a piece of cake. It's not a big deal. So you've anchored them to something higher so that they can say, okay, well, maybe that's not what I want right now. What I want right now is my chiropractic plan, and that's $4,000. Fantastic. Good. You just get them signed on to that plan. So then there's mid-tier hybrid plans. So you can have a corrective care and rehab accelerator. So for those of you who do have modalities in your office, adding a chiropractic and rehab type component in there can be very profitable and very helpful to that patient, especially the patient who just wants short-term care before you have the opportunity to educate them, win their trust so that they decide that yes, I want to stay here the rest of my life. Because a lot of people, let's be honest, don't think that way on the first few times they come into your office. Okay. Some people don't. So to offer them some sort of a short-term care. So rehab sessions like shockwave, modalities, laser, or even decompression, where you have that decompression program built into a chiropractic plan. Um, and you have very regular reevaluations so that you can constantly recommit them and re-educate them. So I'm talking like bi-weekly reevaluations at the most. Sometimes it could be weekly reevaluations. This might be a 3 month, a 2 month, or even a 1 month plan, but it can still be priced appropriately. It still might be $2,000, $2,500, $3,000 for a 1 month plan. That's very possible because you've incorporated these things. And there will be people who want to pay that because they value what you deliver. Even though they're not in it for the lifetime care, they want high level care in a very short term. They want it quickly. So to have that set up. Here's another great strategy that I'm going to share with you guys. And this is something that a lot of offices do. This is something I did the last few years of practice, but it was gold. And if I decided to open up a practice, this is how I would market the practice. So, I mean, everybody runs Facebook ads, and you're trying to attract people who have symptoms, lower back pain, sciatica, neck pain. Honestly, I don't know if I would do that right off the bat. Sure, that can be valuable, and yeah, definitely that'll bring people in. So that's one way to do it. But what can be really valuable, even more valuable, is actually setting up a nutrition program. And so a monthly advanced nutrition talk, and you write it in stone. And ours was the third Thursday of every month at 7 o'clock, and we actually advertised it. So it was a nutrition. We had nutrition 101, nutrition 102, nutrition 103. So it was very different every month. We titled it some really fancy names like the happy hormone talk or the thyroid reset talk or whatever it was to capture people's attention. And we'd bring them in for a nutrition talk. We talked to them about nutrition, but in every nutrition talk, we talked to them about the effect of the nervous system and having a properly functioning nervous system and showing them where nerves actually went to the thyroid or nerves went to their small intestines. And if there was interference, that those organs wouldn't work properly. Their ability to absorb nutrients wouldn't work properly. And so we actually got people set up for a nutrition plan. So the nutrition plan was a scan on the Tanita scale. So we would measure their weight and body fat. It would be a fat loss program. They would get a customized nutrition plan over the next 30, 60, 90 days, depending on the level they wanted to engage in. We would have a perspective outcome for that plan. Like if they wanted to lose 12 pounds, we'd give them an idea. Okay, we want to lose like 1 pound a week for 12 weeks, whatever that is, and actually have a goal. And they would be monitored. They would come in once a week for their weigh-in. They would get their nutrition plan. They would get a supplement protocol. And so just that nutrition plan could have been valued at $2,000, $2,500. But then with that plan, they would get a complimentary spine and nervous system examination. And the majority of people that were on the nutrition plan came in for this spinal and neurological examination and then thus started chiropractic care. So it's a great way to attract people's attention. See, people love coming to nutrition workshops or weight loss workshops or hormone reset workshops or chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia. They love coming to stuff like that. They don't like coming to chiropractic workshops. So getting people in the door that way is extremely, extremely valuable and can explode your practice. So for those of you who don't do that and you want to grow, this is a great way to do that. And then for your wellness-based patients, and again, I don't like the term wellness-based because it's so overused. So we started using subluxation prevention programs where people would be coming in to get their subluxations checked or their spine analyzed for subluxation, and so that we would prevent subluxation from happening on a bi-weekly basis. That's all we offered was weekly and bi-weekly. We didn't offer monthly. And they would be on a plan where they would pay a certain amount every month. So whether it's 150, 200, 300 a month, whatever the case is, and they would get biweekly or weekly adjustments, but they would also get some discounts on services. So they would get discounts on their supplements. They would full access to workshops. And we also had our patient appreciation dinner. So for people that were on those plans, they would get VIP seats at the patient appreciation dinner, which would mean like different things. We would give them awards. We would recognize them, ask them to come up for testimonials. They would always be first up to the buffet table. Like it was little things, but it made a huge difference. And it kept the fun, it kept the engagement, and it helped people feel like they were really important and really valued. So putting that together, and again, if you want more help with that and some of the different ideas that you can have in that regular monthly membership model or that subscription plan, if you will, I can help you put that together. Okay. So here's a couple of other just little ideas as far as membership programs. So you could do a recovery or mobility club. And this is great if you have a geriatric practice, like a lot of seniors in your practice, having them come in regularly for a social time. And this was really, we had a lot of patients who did this. A lot of them would just come in and I mean, they might get their adjustment. Some would come in as friends of the one who was getting the adjustment, and they would just love to hang out. They would talk to the staff. They would do their stretching, sit on the wobble chairs. They would do their wall tractioning. We could set up a mobility class. Some of them would come to the exercise class that we had set up. So having things like this set up so people can actually come to your office, not necessarily just to be adjusted. They might come for, like I said, a stretching class, exercise class, just for a social hour. You can have like a special, you can give away, a tea hour, tea and crumpets hour, whatever you want to call it, but something to make it fun for them to actually show up and be in your office. These are all great ideas just to increase the culture and increase the energy. And during that time, they can use the vibe plates, use the head weights, use the CerviGuard wall tractioning. They're engaged in their care on a regular basis. And then here's another idea, the nutrition coaching subscription, where somebody it would be a longer term program. So this could be like 3, 6 months, 12 months, and they would get weekly check-ins by either by Zoom or by a phone call from a team member, like a nutrition coach who is a team member in your office, not necessarily the doctor. They would have a doctor created meal plan that would be upgraded every month. So it's a new meal plan every month. They would get supplement guidance based on their current state of health and stress, and they would have a way to sort of track their habits. So whether that's some sort of a online form or whether that's an app that you use, there's all kinds of different apps you could use. So something like that. Again, the idea is keeping people engaged in what you deliver. And it's easy to set up. Once you get it set up, you train a staff to do it, and it's just done behind the scenes. So it doesn't involve the doctor doing it, but you're keeping people engaged. And that is the key. That's the idea. People don't quit because they don't like you. They quit because they've obviously gotten out of the trauma that they came in with. So they're either out of pain or they get bored. And the idea, and listen, you all know you've had great wellness care patients who've been coming in regularly for months or years, and next thing you know, they disappear. What happened? Well, they probably just got bored. So keeping them excited, keeping them engaged in something is a really great way to plug the holes in the bucket and keep the energy in your office, keep people around so they stay for the long term. And when they stay for the long term, they keep referring other people. So so those are some decent ideas. I've got a whole bunch more, but based on the time, I just want to open it up for you guys for any type of questions and anything that you'd like to discuss while we're on the line here.